Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Excavation Point Zoo in Planet Zoo. My name is Swoop there and I am here on my own today without my collaborator Mrs. T-Rex. I am building an African penguin habitat. Unfortunately, you can see that some of my footage was lost. The beginnings of the build. I did build the tank and the seating area, or I guess the education area, prior to this, and unfortunately that particular part of that file was corrupt, so I could not use it. However, having said that, I have actually got a bunch of footage for this habitat, and it took me a long time to build it. So you can see at the moment I'm just going in, I'm popping the penguins in, and then what I do is I go through quite a process in order to put this habitat together. I decided to leave in quite a lot of my struggles when I was building this habitat, simply because sometimes I think when creators kind of edit out everything that they struggled with, it sort of looks like they don't struggle. I had a lot of problems with this habitat, and I wanted to leave in some of it. A lot of the things that I struggle with tend to be making things look realistic for a zoo, but also the pathing was a real pain. I decided that I didn't like where the current seating area is, and I wanted to move it over so it was more centered to the tank, and then trying to do that and then change the paths and so on just ended up being an absolute nightmare, because I also wanted to make sure that I did have the ramp so that people could access it via wheelchair. I put in a lot of rocks in this habitat, and they're all the fake rocks that came with the marine pack. I really liked this little penguin. I wanted to pop it in because I thought that the African penguin would be the most suitable kind of marine animal for this particular zoo, because it is in a grassland area. I'll tell you a little bit about the African penguin because I tend to enjoy, I guess, researching the animal that I build for and then telling people a few facts that I find out. So the African penguin, although it's not found in the freezing Arctic or Antarctic, it does still swim in the really cold waters off the South African coast. So they do have their waterproof feathers that keep them dry and warm, but they also have a number of dot markings flecked on their white chests, and those particular flecks kind of help to individualize each penguin. So I was reading that those flecks on their chest are as individual as a human's fingerprint, which is really interesting. And they also are the only penguin to have a bare patch of skin above each of their eyes. And the reason for that is actually because it helps them cope with the high temperatures in South Africa. So the hotter the penguin is feeling, the more blood flows into that area, and then it gets cooled by the air because it is just a patch of skin rather than any feathers. And then that will help the penguin keep cooler. So I thought that was actually a really interesting fact. Also, as more blood flows into that area, that part of the penguin gets pinker and pinker. It can swim really quickly, up to 20 kilometers an hour, and usually it's said online that they kind of cruise at between 4 and 7 kilometers an hour, and they can dive down to 130 meters. Sadly, unfortunately, their numbers are declining. The moment there's less than 42,000 individuals remaining, but there is speculation that once breeding pairs could have numbered in the millions, so there really isn't that many left in comparison to how many there used to be. The reason for that is because of habitat loss, overfishing, coastal development, and oil spills, including depleted prey populations because of that overfishing, as I said earlier. So that's a really sad thing, unfortunately. So you can see me here, as I said earlier, this is where I was doing a little bit of struggling. I was trying to get the viewing area or the viewing part of this tank looking decent, and I kind of wanted it to look unique, but I also wanted it to look somewhat symmetrical on either side because I feel like that was probably a little bit more realistic. I trialed quite a few things. I fiddled around with the barriers, as you can see me doing now. And in the end, I decided that it wasn't actually really the tank that was the problem, it was actually the seating area down in front of it. So I tend to put the tank back pretty much exactly how I had it, and then I go in a moment and start to move the seating area, and I take out one of the, you can see at the moment I've got 2 sets of stairs leading down and a ramp. I end up taking out one of the sets of stairs and putting the ramp on the other side, which actually ended up working a lot better. Another thing I wanted to do was pop another viewing area. As you can see over there on the left hand side, there is a glass piece. The reason I wanted to put that viewing area up there is because I feel like quite a lot of the time there would probably be education and so on going on down in the education area where it's kind of sunken in front of the tank, and you might just want to kind of go and view the penguins, but maybe not necessarily go and listen to a talk or watch them from underneath, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to go and watch them swimming around in their tank, but maybe if there are none swimming and you still want to see the penguins, you can go up on the side there. You can see I've popped a big cut in there simply because there was a lot of footage that I kind of faffed around. You can see now that I have finished fixing the pathways and I have moved the seating over so that it is now centered into the tank, and I put quite a lot of garden beds around it. I also go in with the new, I guess they are the seating area, or what are they called, like barriers to stop guests from sort of walking off the edge of the seating area. Not that they do in game, but kind of to make it look realistic, kind of as safety barriers. I pop those in as well and just put this sort of tiered garden system in so it looks a little bit more realistic and everything's kind of filled in, all the spaces are filled in. What I'm going to do is let you guys finish watching the rest of the speed build. I do end up going in with a custom roof and I like the way it turned out. I'm not 100% sure, or when I first built it, let I say, I'm not 100% sure that I liked the colour that I chose, but in the end I ended up liking it. I think it fits in nicely despite it being kind of bright for this biome, but it does fit in nicely with the penguins and their swimming area. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the speed build, and I will see you in the real time part at the end. Well, everyone, here we are out of the speed build and back in the real-time walkthrough. I will probably have a couple of spoilers in here for a future episode of mine, but I'm going to try and avoid any spoilers for any future episodes of Mrs. T-Rex's. So as you can see, it wasn't in the speed build, but we've got a lot of staff members walking to and fro here. It wasn't in the speed build, but I do have a little viewing area for the African penguin up here. So we're going to head up to that first. We'll just trundle along here and we will go straight up here, up to this kind of undercover viewing area. So as I said in the speed build, you may not want to go down underneath. You may just want to come up here and there's a little penguin in perfect placement for us to see and another one eating. So you can come up here, you can get a coffee if the coffee machine was working, and you can sit and watch the penguins. So you can see their entire habitat, sort of the land portion of it, and you can also see them swimming around if they happen to be swimming on the top of the water. You can kind of get a glimpse of the entrance to the habitat as well. There's also an undercover area under here for the penguins to sleep, but it is hidden away, so they can have some privacy if they want. There's also this standoff barrier here, obviously to keep people from ramming their fingers on the glass and scaring the penguins. So then you've got this wee education board just there, and then you've kind of got this nice sort of vista or this outlook. If you decide to look down here, you've kind of got all these nice trees, and I love these fever trees. Gosh, the lighting in this game is just beautiful. I did set the lighting kind of in late afternoon because this is how it's best to show off this particular habitat. So let's just plow back on down here, and we will turn this way. As you can see, I've got a little statue here. There's an entrance here. This is with the ramp, and then there is also a staircase down the other side. So let's head on down this way, and we'll just go straight down into the habitat itself. I might just turn off that music. Okay, so music turned off, easier to hear everything going on. So you can just head on down this way. There is another penguin education board there. And then as you wander on down, you can actually see them all swimming around in their tank. So you can come right up close next to this standoff barrier if you want to, and you can get a really good look at the penguins swimming around. There's just a faux log in here, and then everything else is kind of lined with like realistic looking rocks, and then you've got the base also lined, and there is a drain over this side as well, and kind of like some pipes that would kind of be used to pump the water back into the tank if they did have to empty it at any time. There isn't any stairs or anything like that, because I feel like this particular type of tank, it probably wouldn't get emptied out all that often, and when it does get emptied out, then they could probably put a ladder in if they need to be down in the tank. So I didn't put any stairs for keepers or anything like that. The keepers aren't going to get in here to do any shows with the penguins. They're just would only ever get down into here if they needed to clean it out, or maybe if they needed to rescue a penguin or something like that. That would be probably the only reason. So there you go. There's the view from down sort of at eye level. And then if we turn around here, you can see I've got the education area. So if we just back off, I can show you the full kind of view of it. So this is where we walked down, and then over here is kind of a little bit of a spoiler, but we'll worry about that later. Then you've got the seating area where you can come and sit down and watch them, or listen to a keeper talk, which is set up but it's hidden away. So when the keepers do speak, they stand pretty much where I'm standing right now and give their talk to the guests that are seated here. And then you have the kind of, I guess, these little garden beds behind, and then there's also a garden bed over this side. So what we might do is we will head this way. You can see I popped in the roof, like kind of made the panels a little bit of a different colour here and there, so it looked a little bit more realistic. And we'll head on up here, and we will just snoop around this way like so. And there we go. So this is the other entrance to the undercover African penguin area. And we can head up through the staff only area. And I'll just show you, I haven't put any covers on here. I intend to do that in my next episode. And then this is the back entrance to the penguin habitat. So you can walk straight on through here, and there isn't anything in here, guys, so don't get excited. Not like any of the other kind of areas that I've made look quite decent. But then if you walk through here, this is the little sort of undercover area for the penguins to have their privacy. So there's like some bedding behind here, and then this is where the keepers would walk into the penguin habitat to give out food, or to get a penguin for if it's sick or it needs anything any medical attendance. And then we'll just pop over here. I can show you from this side the guest viewing area on this side. Just quietly, you'd think someone would have fixed that up by now, wouldn't you? But there you go. So let's jump down into the tank, see if we can see any penguins swimming around. There we go. And I think, guys, on that note, we might leave this here. This habitat did take me ages to build. However, I am happy with how it turned out. I think it is a nice addition to Excavation Point Zoo. Please head on over to Mrs. T-Rex's channel for the next episode, or the next installment. And then following that, you will see another episode from me. I think after that, we will probably look at doing a zoo tour soon after that. There'll be just a few more episodes left to go. And then we have the beta release of Prehistoric Kingdom. You can see here, this is where I've hidden the education. You can't see it from the guest side, so we'll just pretend that, oh, hello penguin. We'll just pretend that we didn't see that, guys. We didn't see that at all. We'll just jump out. There you go. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much for the support on my channel. I really appreciate it. If you are enjoying Planet Zoo, please feel free to give me a like. It really does help my channel. If you are not subscribed and you are here often, it would be great to have you subscribing. It really does help get my channel out there to more people in the YouTube universe. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.